That's a full fuel load. 15.9 litres on a 23 litre tank. Oh, let's plug my phone in. Because of the Relive tracking software, done half drain the battery. So, now we go round and round about and back. It's not often I'll leave my village the other way. There's one main road goes through our village. This way goes into Gandia, and the other way goes to the next little town of Villalonga. But to get to Alicante today, I'm going across country, which means climbing up those mountains in the distance. Now the problem you can already see is the smoke. What happens here is this whole area, and a lot of Spain, is surrounded by mainly orange groves. And this is the picking season. Once the oranges have been picked, there's a team of guys coming with chainsaws who cut the trees right back. They have to remain at a height where the pickers can reach them, but also, if they're not so intent on growing more leaves, they grow more fruit. How do they get rid of all this wood that they saw off the trees? They burn it. And they have to burn it before a certain month, because during the summer there is no burning allowed for obvious reasons. We've had some incredible fires that have got really, really close to us. In fact, the village that I'm going to go through, the next town from ours, they were evacuated. And we don't want that to happen again. The problem is, not all the oranges are picked on the same day. It happens over a few weeks. The burning usually happens in the mornings, because the guys who own the orchards come and set fire to them before they go to work. The wood, that is, not the orchards. So we have to put up with this smoke smog for quite some time. Now, of course, in this day and age of pollution control, where I even have to have, can't really see it, a pollution sticker on my motorbike, we have this. It seems a bit strange, doesn't it? Perhaps if they stopped people burning wood and they had to mulch it, like some of them do, then perhaps we wouldn't have such a big pollution problem. Of course, also an awful lot of wood ends up in these homes, because they all burn wood. They've all got log burning fires, if we have. I think that's a hotel. It was quite a popular one. I think it's for people hiking, mountain biking or something like that, because it always seems to have a lot of people in it. Now the other thing is, I had a message the other morning from someone that I know. I won't say they're a close friend, but they're married to a friend, and that's how I got to know them. Jenny, in fact, I actually had a couple of dates with her when I was about 16, 17, anyway, a lot younger than I am now. And over the years we bumped into each other and kept in touch, and she's married to John. Now, John messaged me. I've got this message sent to me, something like 20 to 2 in the morning. And I looked at it. First I thought, 22 in the morning? You know, there's a lot of these people have their accounts hacked. I looked at it, I'll see it in the morning. So I got up in the morning, walked the dogs, and then suddenly realised I got this message. And it said, "Hi Ross, how's it going? Whereabouts in Spain do you live? We're doing a cruise in May." Wow. I messaged him and I said I'm halfway between sort of Alicante and Valencia. In fact, I'm near Valencia, but then he said, we're docking in Alicante on our cruise ship on the 2nd of May. Any chance we could meet up? Well, I said, of course, no problem at all. I said, Jenny will be so made up. Now, I haven't seen Jenny for, oh God, decades even, in person. So yeah, that'd be quite cool. That's another little thing I've got lined up. Now, the thing I've learned about being retired and getting older is make plans. Make plans for next week, next month, next year. Okay, stick to them. The moment you give up making plans for the future, you may as well curl up your toes and drop off. What have I got planned? Well, there's a few things. I'm hoping to ride back to England, if I've got the money and I can afford it, for the last weekend in June. There's a big drag racing event, nostalgia drag racing event, and I think I've already mentioned that I was used to. 5 years since I last drove my little drag, so it's been in bits since then. I'm hoping it'll be back together again. I'll get my last go, but if not, it's not a problem. It'd be nice to go and see some old friends, visit the kids and grandkids, and then I found the route that my ex-wife and I and the kid used to take when we used to come down to the Costa Brava area of Spain every year when we used to go camping. I thought it would be really cool to actually travel that route again. Now, we used to get the, I think it's Ramsgate, Zeebrugge, Townsend Torresen. This was before it turned upside down and it went bust. And we'd go down then towards Reims, go round the outer Paris ring road to a place called Brie-Comte de Robert. And then from there, I probably got this in the wrong order, it was Fontainebleau, Melun, or was it Melun, Fontainebleau, Nevers, Clermont-Ferrand, all the way down Béziers, down to the coast, Montpellier, and then turn right, follow the coast road down to Saint-Pierre, Pescador, Estati and La Scala, around that area, which is one of my favourite places in the world. I thought that would be cool. So I'm going to do one stop on the way there, I hope, which means doing a 1,000-kilometre ride and then a 700-kilometre ride. Last year at this time, and I mean this week, I rode to Portugal, to Albufeira, because my ex-wife was there on holiday. She goes there every year on her birthday, and this year she's had serious cancer treatment and been given a real clear. But last year she didn't know any of this. It was only after she got back we found out, when she went to the doctors. But she brought over some bank details and cards for me. Now, we've had a few cards sent in the post that never arrive, and it's a bit iffy. They got missing on purpose, what's that? So I thought, you know what, I'll ride down. So I spent 3 days down there in a different hotel, I might add, just up the road. Had a really nice time, actually. But anyway, just around 1,000 kilometres each way, and I did it in 1 day each way, so I iron butted it. I know I can do it. I'm not saying it's comfortable, but sometimes it's a case of you need to be somewhere, not a case of this is a tour and I'm going to take my time like I am at the moment. You know, don't think I've been much over 90 kilometres an hour, which is the usual national speed limit. I like to take my time going through France. Nearly missed that one completely. I looked at that, I thought that don't look, oops, no, it's right. To Lorcha, or as you can see, 2 signs there, the other one with an X. Lorcha. It's a sort of cross between an itch and a sh, locha, which is Valenciano, which I think I've said before is a dialect of Catalan, which I believe is an offshoot of Occitan, France. Not what I plumbed in, there's that, oh, it's only for a little while. Oh, let's speed it up now. Very well-known piece of motorway for me. But this time, I'm coming off it, it says. For the cotton cleaner. Any watchtowers that dot the hills of this part of Spain. I don't know who built the Moors or the Christians, but they were, both of them were prolific builders of castles and fortifications. I've got to come off here, but it also shows me coming back on and I don't quite understand it, so we'll come off, I'll pull to the side and just see, because I know I've got to go through Carpentina. Have a look at this. front. Down there somewhere, out to the left there, is the sea. On a clear day, maybe, but not today. Right behind. Do you know what I mean? That cable's going around the corner. Shouldn't really chase, but what the hell. There's an 70-year-old catch up with you. Sometimes a gorgeous view. It's not so bad. that pink helmet. Industrial area. Oh, the Poligono. That's how you call them out here. These integrated indicators, I don't like them, not even on cars. Back to the road humps. God, they like their road humps. Speed humps. There's a bike lane right in the middle. That's pretty. Square trees. Oh, and the odd round one. Or half round one. Topiary at its greatest. Like it. Pretty part of the world. First time I came to Spain was 92, 3, 4, I can't remember now. It was a long old haul in the car, I'd been before, weren't too sure of the roads. Tried to keep off the motorways for obvious reasons and tolls as best we could. And as soon as we crossed over in La Jonquera into Spain, I sort of relaxed. Even then, I mean, what? Christ, when was that? Getting up for 40 years ago now. It felt like home. Oh, keeps doing that. Starting to twinge again. Now this is starting to worry me because I've got to do an awful long trip to the UK. Now the big problem is, of course, if my back's playing up, after what, 100 kilometres like this. How's it going to feel after 1,000? Well, here we are in Alicante. Someone's arguing in the car park. This looks interesting. Someone doesn't want to pay. Oh, there's no room, and they're not listening. Of course, the guy who's doing the car park admin could just phone the police. Well, say goodbye to Alicante. I'll get these guys out of the way so I can get out. Thank you. Okay, next stop up to Benidorm. God, dang it, this red light takes a long while. I know I've got to go over the tram lines or whatever they are. Sharp right. And we're not off. Stop again. And the sea looks very blue today. Strange old buildings. Why did you want to come out here? There's room. I don't know. Overtaken by a little girlie on a scooter. And yet another tunnel. Look at that sky. I've got to make the most of this because I said next week, cloudy rain nearly every day. Oh, we go this way, don't we? Not that way. A lot of buildings stopped in 2009 when the economy sort of plummeted, and that's one of them. A lot of them now have started doing them up again, which is good. Pan America. I do like those, and they look like a big bike as well. Physically a big bike. Don't like little bikes. Twat. Oops, shouldn't swear on microphone. I've got to follow one of these not so green Teslas. And for those who don't understand, look it up, because trust me, they're not helping the environment in any way, shape or form. In fact, it's a chemical disaster waiting to happen. And there we have Benidorm. Yay!